Hey guys, Drive02 here. I just got a short video for you today about doing the DIY Retro Bright procedure, whitening old plastics at home and out in the cold. So in my shop, it never really gets to freezing, but it doesn't stay too warm in the winter. You know, we've had some warm weather since, but now right at the tail end of March, it's got cold and snowy and rainy again. And we've seen temperatures hovering around 0+ in the sun during the day, and dipping them back below freezing at night. And so while that's not ideal for doing the RetroBrite process, I just want to show you what I've already accomplished. And so here's the last piece I need to do. And here's the piece I already did. And they were both just as yellowed to begin with. And so you can see quite a difference there. It's a little dirty from my fingerprints and stuff, but it's been sitting around. But here's the cash register I'm working on. And as you can see, it matches just perfectly to basically the rest of the body. And so I just use a mixture of 2 bottles of peroxide to, I don't know, half a gallon or so, a few liters of water. And if I can get this one open. Oops. Just add your peroxide. So I'll just use 2 bottles such as this to, a little more water than that, but hopefully that's not going to float. But you get it submerged, and then I've got right here a black light. And this is just, it's a Philips light bulb that I just knocked the plastic bulb part off. And there's actually some really good ultraviolet LEDs in there. And so I'll probably have to put a stick or something across here to support the light, but that's all I did for that first piece, and it stayed in there for quite a few days. And I'll use a smaller bucket for that other piece. It was this one. I just dumped the stuff in there. But I had pretty good results. And so I'm not too familiar with retro brighting stuff, but I just kind of, did something, a bit of peroxide mixture with some water and an ultraviolet light bulb out in the cold, and my results have been par for the course, good enough. So I figured, if anyone is thinking of trying it, you're probably not going to go, you probably can't do any wrong, is what I'm getting at. It seems like a pretty good process that, whatever that peroxide does in there with the ultraviolet, it seems like it'd be pretty hard to screw it up, although I have seen videos on YouTube of people that have, and their plastics end up looking blotchy or streaky. So I don't know, maybe they're using a higher concentration. I'm just using good old Walmart brand 3% hydrogen peroxide solution, and it's working, so what can you say, right? So this would be my low-tech setup, and I'll leave it for a few days and see how it turns out. One thing I'll say is I did read on the internet that some people add OxyClean to the solution, but I did that and it didn't work out at all. It just made the water like murky and foamy, and the light couldn't penetrate through. And I feel it was, it didn't work at all with the OxyClean. But they were saying you have to use that as a catalyst or something, but it didn't work out for me because you constantly had a layer of a skim layer of foam on the water. And as much as I tried to keep wiping it off, and and it's not like I was stirring it or mixing it, I just put it in there, but it causes it to foam. So that I found did not work at all. This is far from, a professional setup. Like, there's the 8-bit guy and some other YouTubers that do this quite often, and they're probably better at it than I would be, but this is just my experience and my results, so I just thought I'd share that I kind of just winged it and it worked out pretty good. So there it'd be, and I'll probably move the light around a few times and over, every day maybe move the light so it gets, more direct on each side, because it's kind of shining more over here right now. And yeah, that's just a Phillips light bulb. If you can ever find those that have that kind of a base to them, you knock the plastic bulb part off and you got a pretty cool black light. Be cool for parties and stuff too, I guess. So I guess now we'll skip forward to a few days and see how it looks. All right, so here we are. It's been about a week now, and it didn't work so good at first, and I think it was because I had the light like up here and it was actually pointed the wrong way. So I took the thing off the end of that light and just hanging it like that after just 3 days now over the weekend. It's worked a bit. It's a bit lighter now. So I think that's working. But it's been about a week total. But like I said, it didn't really work at first, so I'm just gonna keep on leaving it like that for another day or two. I've dumped 4 jugs of peroxide in there now. So it might be good for a few more days before I have to add any more. But it's good to see that it is working. And it actually did get pretty cold too. So again, like, temperature does kind of affect it, but I find it slows it down, but it does still work. So yeah, we'll leave it at that and check back in a few days. All right, so it's been about another week. It's just after Easter weekend now. Let's see. Well, that's pretty good. That's quite a difference. If you remember initially, all the center keys were lighter than the rest of it, I think. But anyways, I know there was a difference, but you can't even tell now. Yep, that's a pretty good match to what's there already. The existing color of the plastics. And this is the piece I did initially. And if you remember, this piece was really dark compared to it. So that worked out quite well. Even though initially it didn't really seem to be working. But yeah, that's going to look okay. That's going to look a lot better than it was. I've got this Victor Medalist old calculator here, and I've removed all the keys because all of the white keys and the white lettering and numbers were all yellowed on this, and it was quite heavy. You could tell they were yellowed. And so I put all the keys into a peroxide solution, and they're all nice and white now. And I just stuck it in a nice sunny window for a few days, again about a week, and it actually worked really well. So that's my success with the DIY RetroBrite technique, whitening old plastics. Seems to work pretty good. So if anyone's watching that's curious, what the best method is, well, hey, just try it. Get some peroxide, get some water, and get yourself a UV light of some sort, and you're probably going to have some success. I think the biggest factor is temperature. When it started to get around freezing, the process was very slow, but then like in this last week it's warmed up, and that's when I noticed the most results with my tank in here, my tote of peroxide with my UV light. So temperature definitely does play a role, and it does slow down the colder it is, I'll say. But overall, that's quite a success. I mean, you can look at the before and after. I should have taken pictures to actually show before and after, but well, it definitely made a difference. So I'm super happy with that. And now I'm going to get all this stuff put back together and I'm going to throw it up on eBay. Cool. Well, thank you very much for watching. As always, until next time, well, I will see you then.